I did a little digging, and I like to be neat and orderly and tidy. So I'm going to show you my neat and orderly and tidy outline that I made.
Ah,
And can you see that? Is that an appropriate size?
I can see it.
Okay. Early history and initial allegations pre 2005. In the 80s and 90s, this Epstein guy kind of comes out of nowhere. Really. I'm sure he has a background. I'm sure that he's got some sort of pedigree. These guys don't just magically appear, they're placed there more often than not. The
Okay, stand by.
standing by.
Now, do I think he was intentionally positioned there? No. Do I think he started down that road? And I mean, there had to be a way he was getting all these people to throw their money in with him for him to manage their accounts.
Now, hold on there because you've got somebody who's worked alongside of the human assets
Okay.
sitting right here. We were coached on how this kind of stuff worked. What happened was this guy showed potential. This guy walked in the right rooms. This guy had the correct contacts. And he came from a pedigree where an intelligence agency somewhere thought correctly that they could control this guy or at least recruit him and turn him into an asset. That's normally how it works. They're not grown in secret labs in the Yukon or in Siberia like you see in the movies.
No, listen.
What the humanters do, and this is the CIA's job specifically. The Mossad is also very, very good at it. They watch these people at college, and then they slowly recruit them.
All right. So you're saying they put him in the position from the beginning?
No, I'm saying that somebody noticed him under the correct circumstances and then slowly groomed him into the position.
Okay. See,
that's okay.
This is my differentiation on that.
Uh-huh.
All right. He wanted the money. He wanted the power.
Yes.
He started down that path.
Yes.
And then once the alphabet agencies were like, hey, we got this guy. He's doing all these big power moves. Mm-hmm. Let's get him on our side. Well, now, let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. With underage bumper car collisions going on, normally that will take place for only so long before you get that annoying cloud of police.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. And since there were people from all over the world participating in some of these parties.
Oh, wait until we get down the list here.
I know, I'm just saying that there would be police from various other countries getting involved as well.
Organizations like Interpol, which is never mentioned in here.
Yeah, Interpol. That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're on, Epstein's Island, Interpol is legit.
Yes. I'm aware. What I'm trying to explain to you, my pointy end of the spear friend, is that this is a world I am intimately familiar with because we were briefed extensively anytime we went to a foreign country on how to look for what we call bumps, which is when a foreign intelligence service or a fizz attempts to talk to you on the street or wherever you happen to be. They're looking for potential recruits. I got bumped twice during my time overseas.
So what you're saying is we're arguing over semantics.
We are.
See, we don't always get along here on the show.
To a degree, yeah.
So, all right. Okay, I can agree to disagree on the argument of semantics.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm right anyway, so it doesn't matter. Fuck off. Okay. So in the 80s and 90s, this guy is a financier and builds connections with powerful individuals, including politicians, royalties, and celebrities. Okay, you don't walk in those circles without specific invitations. You don't. You don't get near all three of those groups, politicians, royalty, and celebrities, without specific vetting and invitations.
I agree with that. I agree.
Unless you are one seriously, deviously slick motherfucker, and I can't name one off the top of my head who's been able to pull that kind of access.
Well, the only way you would be able to get that kind of access if you were already famous.
Yes.
Like some of the high tier stars, royalty could probably make that happen.
Yes. Exactly. You need a special golden ticket to get to all three of those. Now you can get near any one of those here and there.
But you got to have all three to get to Willy Wonka land.
Right. And you might bump into 2 out of 3 at a party.
All right.
But to build connections among all three of those groups, politicians, royalties, and celebrities like that, plus the finance people. A lot of those finance people, when I worked in corporate law in LA back in 2006 to 2008, a lot of those finance people, you never, ever, 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 ever hear their names. And they're behind shell companies and stuff. You'll go into a board meeting and because I was just staff. I'm not an attorney. I've mentioned this before. And it would be a guy sitting there with his attorney and then a couple of our attorneys, and they'd be like, these are the attorneys here. And the guy sitting meaningfully next to those attorneys would never be announced because you don't need his name.
You just need his money.
That's right. You just need his money. His attorneys are there to speak for him. And occasionally they'd lean over and whisper in his ear, and he'd lean over and whisper in their ear. And I saw that several times, and it was just standard corporate thing. These guys with big, big, big money, they don't want anybody to know who they are. They're not interested in that. So the initial investigation with this guy, and I remember this, a Florida family reports Epstein in Palm Beach, Florida, says he's abusing a 14-year-old girl. He had been grooming local girls, and Ghislaine Maxwell was recruiting them, bringing them back and saying, oh, he just wants a massage.
Oh,
and then over time, it would proceed to get weirder and weirder and weirder. There's actually a documentary, I think, on Netflix about it, which is where I first tipped to the whole thing. Because I don't.
So you're saying is a lot of these women who went to Epstein Island knew magic.
Mm-hmm. Beg pardon?
They knew magic. They could make all that money appear by just doing the hand motion.
Oh, some of them were prestidigitators. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I know where you're going here.
I can't really, say it because the AI will get us. But you guys know what I'm talking about here, right?
Yeah.
All
we
right.
have to work a D&D reference in. big dark secret here. A lot of us are pretty much geeks. What are you going to do?
Underage bumper cars going on.
A lot of underage prestidigitation going on. So Epstein is charged with multiple counts of unlawful sex with minors, and the FBI opens a federal investigation.
So he was having too much saxophone with underage bumper cars. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the underage prestidigitation was getting out of hand. So anyway, get this. Epstein signs, I've never heard of this. Epstein signs a controversial non-prosecution agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Stand by. You are not getting that kind of treatment from the DOJ unless
for molesting the children of prominent Palm Beach families.
The only way that happens is if you're an asset.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yes.
I mean, there's only so much illegal shit you could do and get away with unless you're an asset. And I would dare to say that old Puff Daddy is probably in the similar boat.
It is possible. I don't know anything at all about his situation other than he had some parties in Miami that were, a little over the top, shall we say.
Okay, here's the difference. Mm-hmm. Yes, he was having these crazy parties in California and Miami.
Yeah.
And Epstein was having the exact same kind of parties in a island. I don't believe it's part of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I didn't check those facts, but you can get away with a lot more if you're on an island, I imagine.
Also, there's really only one way there, isn't there? Well, unless you've got one of those boats that can travel the oceans in that area, which is
you're talking like a bigger
exclusive
boat,
domain of the wealthy, a larger boat. Yeah.
And who has yachts in the ocean?
Well, People with specific amounts of money.
High top
people with
communist people.
Yeah. 9-digit incomes.
Yes.
9 digits and above.
Yeah.
Is typically what you're looking at there. Is 9 digits and above for a boat that is seaworthy to that extent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You might get some guys in the 8-digit category, but it's going to be high 8 digits.
Uh-huh.
And theirs isn't going to be as nice as some of the other ones that are out there.
I believe most of them landed on the airstrip on said.
Well, that's where the flight logs come in. We got 7 of those according to the DOJ record. And they're saying there's no lists.
Okay.
You have the lists; they're on the site. It's the flight logs.
I put this in the thumbnail when I put it out there to the world.
Okay.
All right. So we've got a guy who came basically from nowhere.
He had to come from the right place.
That's right. I'm trying to figure out.
We don't know what that is.
Yeah. If we could figure out where he came from, we might be able to spot the future Epsteins that are in, pre-development now. Because I imagine there's a pretty staunch pattern to that kind of behavior. Because one, you're going to have to be a sociopath, in my opinion.
I agree.
And you to do that kind of shit to another human being is going to require being a sociopath and or a psychopath.
Okay, so look at this here. I just did a chat GPT on him real quick. He was born in Brooklyn. His dad was a New York City Department of Parks and Rec, and his mother was a school aide. So he was from a working class family. He attended Lafayette High School in Brooklyn, which is no big deal.
It's mediocre.
It's average. At that time, it was 1953, so it was probably above average. Well, no, that's when he was born, but even so, it would have been above average back in the 60s, 70s. He transferred to New York University's Courant Institute of Mathematical Sciences, studying math and physics, but did not earn a degree. Somehow, he got a teaching degree in 1974. Now, watch this. He was then, listen. He was reportedly then hired by the headmaster, Donald Barr, father of future U.S. Attorney William Barr. While at Dalton, Epstein tutored the son of Alan Greenberg, then CEO of Bear Stearns. Okay. Now, see this little leap here from goes to a university, doesn't get a degree, but suddenly he's teaching and he is being introduced to influential people there. That's human activity. That's what human activity looks like right there. This is somebody.
You are fucking correct.
I know. I did it for a living.
What are the variables, though, that would allow
you don't make a jump? You don't make a jump like that without some sort of a boost. And in my experience, in my professional experience, the 6 years that I spent in the soft stuff, that is a bump. Somebody took him from
a drug,
right? Somebody took him from. He's got potential. The guy was not dumb. We know he was not dumb. Okay, this was a smart guy.
Yeah,
but somewhere in that college period, somebody recognized him as a viable asset and took him and pushed him in a correct direction, or introduced him to somebody, got him a handshake, and then proceeded from that point to cultivate
a handshake,
their asset. Look, I can actually give you an example. Okay. I was a SIGINT guy. We know that. I was signals, but I had been around the human game long enough because the task force that I was with had the human assets. I was at a bar playing darts one night, and this German starts talking to me, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this, that, and the other, and I'm going to go and I'm going to North Korea." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Bonn, Germany. I'm going to go to North Korea. They got factories there. We want to see if they can do some manufacturing for." Oh, well, that's really cool. I've never seen any of that before. Hey, if you can, will you just get me some pictures and stuff like that? So he comes back. We meet at that same bar. We're playing darts. He goes, "Oh, here, I have this for you." And I traded him a bunch of American issues of Bon Appetit magazine that I had.
Okay.
For this disc of photos. And then I walked into my fucking SEO's office, our site security officer's office, and drop the disk in front of him. And he looks at me and he pops it in the sandbox, the computer that's not connected to anything.
Uh-huh.
And he starts looking and he goes, where the
No.
fuck
What
did
we
you
call
get
that in the skiff is put it in the check and see if you fucked up box.
Is that the check and see? Yeah, it's called a
Yeah, we
sandbox.
put it in there. Is it secret, top secret? Did you fuck up?
He starts going through the photos. He's like, how do you get this? I'm like, I flipped it German. It's like, you what? That's how easy it is to do that. If you are personable enough and you recognize an opportunity, you can do that. And that's just something I casually did. That wasn't a sanctioned operation or any of that shit, which is why I'm free to talk about it.
All right.
And the SSO's like, what just happened? Like,
well, listen,
I saw an opportunity here. Send this to whoever. I don't know what happened to the photos.
Well,
he was excited.
When I was doing the intel community stuff, I spent a lot of time in and out of the skiffs at Sulfridge, at Tancom, in Southfield. And when the site security guy shows up at your skiff, that is a big deal.
Yes.
I can't even imagine telling the site security guy flipping another asset. I would, if I would have done that, I would have had half the Pentagon up my ass. It would have been bad.
We were expected to take opportunities. Okay. That one was a raw opportunity. It presented itself without any ties. It presented itself without any foreign or imperial entanglements, as it were.
Okay.
And it happened in a bar over a beer in an era where cell phones and stuff were not ubiquitous yet. And he just came back and handed me a CD, and I handed him some Bon Appetit magazines, and then I handed the disc to the SSO.
Okay.
And the SSO was like, well, shit.
I can almost guarantee you, as soon as you did that, everyone and their mother was all over that guy.
Okay, that's fine. I never heard anything about it ever again, and I never questioned it. Because I knew that at that point, I didn't want to get wrapped up in it any further.
No, listen, you don't want any involvement in that world.
Well, I walked away from that because we had humanters.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
And I gave Sean a full report. I gave our SSO a full report with the disc. That's the part I'm leaving out. So
in Green Beanie Land, we as a group, not individually, but as a group, the Green Beanies a lot of times are approached to do shit like that. And I had a few people I know work on the intel side for a little while, and they quit mainly because they realized they were 1,000% totally and completely expendable.
Yes.
To the point where if you were to disappear, they wouldn't even fucking look for you.
No.
I wouldn't do that.
We had kill times where if you were out of contact for X amount of hours, I won't go into specifics there because it's operational, but if you were out of contact for X amount of hours, people would begin to look for you. And then if you were out of contact for X more amount of hours, they would just erase everything that you had done. And then if you were found, that would be like a bonus prize. Yeah. Yeah. But when that happened, I turned over the full report to Sean. I didn't just glibly throw a CD at him. There was a report and everything. Then it would have been handed off to the humanters, and the humanters would have handled it. But that wasn't my wheelhouse, so I just walked away because that's what we did. It was compartmentalized.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is the video evidence that they got from the island, right? That was technically done by law enforcement.
No, it was there. He had video cameras all over the place.
No, I'm saying law enforcement came in and took all the evidence.
I see. Let's go back to his youth, though. I want to finish my thought on this.
All right.
Okay. So that gap that we have there, right there, where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. He goes to school in 1974, gets a position teaching physics and mathematics at the elite Dalton School. That's an academy where wealthy people's families go.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
And he did that.
That's another bump.
And listen to this. He quickly rises through the ranks, becoming a limited partner at Bear Stearns when he impresses Alan Greenberg. Now, you should remember that name from the 80s. That guy was a heavy hitter in the finance world. But then in 81, this is 1974 to 1981, that's 7 years. Now Epstein is founding his own financial consulting firm.
All right. Okay. Now, what that's telling me is he already started the extortion in some way, shape, or form.
He's feeding back to his handlers.
Correct.
At this point. He is either knowingly or unknowingly feeding back to his handlers at this point.
And his handlers are probably the ones approaching people and, hey, you might want to work with this guy.
That's why everything is a nice, easy glide to the top for this guy. That's what's going on. It's not like in the spy movies where people get killed left and right and everybody's like on edge. And no, they do want this stuff to be nice and easy, so that it's basically an ice cream buffet for them. They just walk in and pick the material that they want, take it and go.
So it's somewhat believable.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
So do you think they slowed it down just enough to make it seem believable?
Yes. That whole thing from college to getting the job at the academy in 74 with no degree at all, to having his own firm after being recruited to work for Bear Stearns, which a lot of you don't remember Bear Stearns. It was a powerhouse investment firm.
08.
Yeah, they got destroyed in 08.
Yeah.
Powerhouse investment firm. And then all of a sudden he's got his own in 1981. This guy's young at this point. He's in his late 20s at this point.
Yeah, but he's
born in 53. This is 74.
Okay.
So he's 32.
If he was a prodigy.
Do that math real quick. 74 to 53. Yeah.
If he was a prodigy, you would know it in high school.
Yes.
All right. And none of his college grades or anything. No. Okay. Because a prodigy can advance this quickly.
Yes.
But those guys are exceedingly rare.
I've known one in my entire life. We had a kid in high school who at 15 was sent to Ohio State to study nuclear physics.
Yeah. They're on a whole other level, man.
Right. We couldn't understand a word he was saying. Andrew was like totally out there.
Yeah. And they literally, like, those guys are so smart, they flirt with insanity.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're usually socially very awkward because nobody can relate to them.
Yes.
Because they're basically at the age of 14, they're competition for somebody like Aristotle or Pythagoras.
Yeah, I got you.
But
you're actually correct on the bumps, though. Now,
there's no way that this is
I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Where was it again? Let me pull that back up. Okay, this guy is born in 1953. He's teaching at Dalton School in 1974.
Wow.
That's 21, right?
That's pretty young.
And then in 1981, he opens his own firm. 21, 74, that's 53, that's 28.
No, 28.
28 years old, he's opening his own financial consulting firm.
Right, now, hang on.
That guy's handled.
Yeah. All right. And when you put it in that timeline, you're absolutely correct. That's the only way you can. It's the only way. Well, it's not the only way.
Now, wait a minute. Here's why. Unless he's a prodigy, here's why. Okay. In 1981, that financial world was still controlled by all the old dudes. They're not going to let a 28-year-old kid just walk in.
Yeah, you're right.
At 28 in the finance world, you were a kid. E.F. Hutton and Greenberg and all those other people were all in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
At that time. If this guy's walking in.
Because I worked in that world. Okay. I started off as an investment banker right out of college because I knew a guy in the business. That's the only way I was able to get in. And there were
You got to have it in, don't you?
Yeah, there were stockbrokers that were bringing in off the street who were, 28, 29, 30 years old. And they didn't want young ones because they were too young and impressionable, and they made hormonal decisions. So the more the more you're talking, the more I'm believing the fact that he was handled.
Yes, he had handlers. Yes. Somebody put this guy there at 28 years old in 1981. A 28-year-old young man does not open his own investment firm in the face of Bear Stearns.
Well, first of all right, for you to open up your own investment firm,
the capital.
This is from like 96 when I started working in Phoenix, 96, 97. You had to have an insane amount of working capital just to open the doors.
Yes.
All right. And then you had to have.
Where's that coming from?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I mean, your own firm, you're going to need 30 to 50 million just to actually for enough buffer to maintain the license.
And salaries. Nobody's going to come work for you if that salary is questioned.
Yeah. But the thing is like people do all kinds of crazy trading, like options and shorts and stuff like that, or they'll actually let you trade on credit to an extent.
I don't know anything about that world.
I do.
That's beyond me. Yep.
But the thing is say you're trading on margin and you get hit with a margin call and you can't pay it. Well, the firm has to have enough money to cover your fuck up, so it doesn't reflect.
Give us the 30-second elevator speech on margin calls.
All right, margin call is this: I have $1,000 in my account and I want to trade it, and I see what to me looks like a good opportunity. That I will approach my firm and say, "Hey, I want to buy additional shares on margin above and beyond what I have in my account." Most of the time, they'll be like, "Okay, we'll let you do 50%." So I'll open up a margin account for $1,500, and I trade that. And then if I screw it up and I'm not making my numbers, then I will get a margin call, and they're like, "Hey, we want our money back."
And now you're liable.
Yeah, you're liable. But the firm still has to cover your position. Otherwise, the firm loses its license or it gets sanctioned harshly. So there is no fucking way a 28-year-old dude who didn't even graduate fucking college was able to, yeah, you're 100% right.
In the space of 7 years.
God. Man, he was handled like a 5-gallon bucket. Jesus, you're absolutely correct.
Yep. Now let's go back to his arrest record thing here. He signs a controversial non-prosecution agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office. That's where we got into the whole handler thing. He pleads guilty to 2 state prostitution charges with a 14-year-old was one of them. 14-year-old, remember this. He pleads guilty to 2 state prostitution charges and serves 13 months in a private wing of a county jail with work release privileges. Why?
That is such bullshit. Oh my God.
This is an asset. This is an asset. Anybody in the human world who's listening right now, go back and listen to what we just talked through and tell me this is not an asset. Okay, the next thing here, the deal shields him from federal prosecution and grants immunity to potential co-conspirators, a highly criticized element of the agreement. My guess with that statement right there, potential co-conspirators, is one of the handlers came close to being seen. You very rarely ever see a single handler on an asset because it creates too much of a pattern.
They usually will swap them out every now and again, or
just like when did you go through the follow people course?
Yeah.
How many people does it take to follow somebody properly?
Effectively, a minimum of 6.
Yep. Minimum of 6, like 4 vehicles.
Yeah. And you have a certain time limit. You can be behind the asset, then you have to turn off. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
absolutely correct.
It's the same thing with handling somebody like this. So I think, I have no proof of this. I'm speculating, again, based on experience. The deal shields him from federal prosecution and grants immunity to potential co-conspirators. I think one or more of his assets came really close to being touched. And the federal government,
like
or
touched in a bumper car underage kind of way, or
not in that kind of way, in the no reach around kind of way. There will be no reach around for you today.
I hope
I'm
you guys
sorry.
love the show, because part of the entertaining part is talking around the algorithms.
Yeah, we have to talk around the YouTube algorithm so we don't get demonetized. Soap was almost dropped on that day.
Yeah.
Soap
First
was
of all,
almost dropped.
as a normal dude, you get hemmed up for banging a 14-year-old, you are done.
You're done.
You're
You're
doing
way
a
done.
minimum of 10 years. Minimum.
Yeah. Especially in a prominent community like Palm Beach.
Yeah, you are going to get
This was in 2005. Palm Beach was still a pretty posh little neighborhood for the most part. Let's see. Renewed security and civil suits. Civil lawsuits against Epstein multiply. Survivors and whistleblowers start to pop up, say he's running a sex trafficking ring involving powerful elites.
What year was that?
That's 2011 to 2016. Now, in 2015, Virginia Joffrey, nay Roberts, alleges she was trafficked by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to powerful men, including Prince Andrew. She's the one who made public that there were high roller names in here.
All right.
And I'm floored that she didn't have some sort of an elevator accident.
All right. Remember when my beginning monologue went, or when we talked before the show started, I said there's going to be 2 or 3 or 4 things, threads that stick out that we're going to pick at. That's what we're doing. Because listen, no one sanitizes anything 100% of the time.
No, there's no way to do that.
You will find 2, 3, 4 things out there that you could pick at and maybe answer your questions. That's exactly the process that Steve and I are doing right now.
Yeah. And in the real intelligence world, that's the stuff we're taught to look for. The obvious things are obvious. You're not looking for that. You're looking for the little tiny fiddly shit. Like we know that the Kim family in North Korea had a predilection for a certain type of alcohol. And we were able to use that to monkey branch and find out some stuff. And I can't go any further with that, but it's just a good obvious example.
It's the same thing when I used to work in LERS. You know, we look for specific assets, give away higher intent.
Yes.
Like for instance, if you come across a water purification truck, you know that the vicinity is supporting a minimum of a division level asset.
Yes.
So
exactly.
Like, and we're
same exact thing.
Everything is fucking war here on Redonkulas.
When we did the SIGINT for LERS, if we come across 4 platoons, well, we know that we're looking at a minimum of a regiment or a brigade, not a company.
Okay.
It's a regiment. That's a regiment or a brigade, because very rarely will a company field all of its platoons into a single area by themselves. That's rare for a company element to operate alone, which means a regimental or a brigade command somewhere in the area.
Okay. All right. I see that now.
Yep. So you got these suits with Virginia Guffrey. She's the one in 2015 that basically exposed the whole thing. And then in 2018, investigative reporting by Julie K. Brown of the Miami Herald exposed the full scope of Epstein's crimes in the secretive plea deal, reigniting public outrage. To refresh your memory, that's the 2005 Rapé case with the 14-year-old, where he only got a couple of minor prostitution charges and a slap on the wrist. So in July 6th, they finally, whatever asset was controlling him, whatever human asset was controlling him, decided that they didn't need him anymore. He gets arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey on federal sex trafficking charges involving minors in Florida and New York, which tells you what you really need to know.
Hang on.
He got dumped by his handlers. That's a dump.
All right. Well, another word you would use is burned.
Burned, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole show called Burn Notice. So
I'm a burn notice. I got burned over a piece of tail.
yeah.
I'm an actual burn notice, and there's no hot girlfriend, there's no loft apartments in Miami, and there's no cool job.
No.
By the way,
you get screwed over hard.
you get completely screwed over. Your life is just torched.
Yes.
And you got to find a way to dig yourself out. Fortunately, when they did that to me, they didn't find a way to debrain me. So I had all of that training that I got to take with me. At any rate, let's see here. Arrest, indictment, and death. July to August 2019, prosecutors seized thousands of photos and videos of nude or partially nude young girls from Epstein's New York townhouse. Rumors spread about the existence of blackmail material, client lists, and surveillance recordings. Okay, here we are. They're saying in 2019 that they've got all of this stuff. They've got lists. They've got photos. I guarantee you those photos of the girls aren't just the girls every single time. I guarantee you there's some clients in there somewhere, because these people are narcissists.
Here's the thing. We've got somebody rotting in jail for the rest of their life already.
Yep.
For no victims.
Yep.
How the fuck is that even possible?
I'm getting there.
And people are dead now too. Because I believe some of the people on these witness lists have probably been deactivated by force.
Yeah, I wouldn't at all be surprised.
And all they got to do is, pick up the phone and call old Hillary, because that woman is like the queen of getting people suicided.
Yeah.
Strictly this is my opinion, of course. When you look at the numbers, statistically speaking, that's virtually impossible.
Supposedly, there are 53 known arkancides to date.
Yeah.
Supposedly, that's the alleged number. Is
I heard it was
53.
There's like 20 or 30 more suspected.
I wouldn't at all be shocked to find out that was true. Yeah. So anyway, the term Epstein list is not an official document, but loosely refers to flight logs, a black book, court filings, the Maxwell trial evidence during Ghislaine's Maxwell's trials 2021 to 2022. Some documents are sealed, but others, including witness testimony and partial lists, were released. Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking minors for Epstein. Okay, there it is right there, 21 to 22. That's what Pop was talking about just a second ago. Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested for trafficking girls to Epstein at his island. So who are the clients?
Yes. I find it hard to believe you have no victims and you have no clients.
Do you find that suspicious?
That is beyond suspicious.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
apparently old Epstein was getting ass from his assets.
Right. Yes.
On his island of ass.
So shortly before Ghislaine Maxwell's trials, on August 10th of 2019, Epstein is suspiciously found dead in his jail cell at the Manhattan Correctional Center. The official ruling is suicide with multiple irregularities, guards asleep, cameras malfunctioning, fuel conspiracy theories. Here's the thing. They actually showed footage of like people moving around outside of the cell claiming it was guards and stuff like that. They did that just recently. So just in the last couple of years, AI has gotten pretty good.
Yeah.
And they've had 6 years to release those images and disprove that there was nobody outside of his, or that there was somebody outside of his cell when he was murdered. In other words, supporting their suicide theory. Now, just in the last year, all of a sudden, we get a video of somebody moving around outside of his cell. The same year that AI achieves the ability to doctor video like that. You see where I'm going here?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to...
It's awfully suspicious. I'm
not
saying it's so. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm not saying it's 100% certified, but it's very, very suspicious. They had 6 years to release that video, and just now it gets released.
Well, there was a mob guy who got ran up the river in the late 80s through the 90s. I think his last name is Fabrizi. He was involved in a big gas tax scam for the mob in New York.
Yeah. Okay.
And he commented on one of his shows. I watched it 3 or 4 weeks back. And he's like, there's no way I'm believing that Epstein committed suicide in that cell, because at some point I was in that cell. And there's no fucking way. Guards would be asleep, cameras would be turned off, and just coincidentally, yeah, I'm not buying it.
And the blankets are deliberately made of a fiber that will tear before you can hang yourself with it. It's a security feature.
Yeah.
It's a high-risk cell. They put people who are at risk of suicide in those cells.
So it's pretty, would you say that's a bad track record if you put somebody in a cell designed not to commit self-deletion and they still self-delete?
Still self-delete somehow. Yeah. Yes. The big tell to me is him being all of a sudden picked off at the airport. My guess is he got sloppy and proud. Like I said, in every case, these sex molesters are, to some degree, they're narcissists. They're full of themselves. They have this private mythology that they're doing what they should be doing.
You're saying the saxophone molasses ours?
Yeah.
They're narcissist and they get greedy and then they get too proud and arrogant. Yes.
Yes. And they often believe their own stink.
Well, the minute you think you're untouchable is when people can put their hands on you.
Precisely so. Yeah. Precisely so. And I think he expended his shelf life and they went, okay, here, just pick him up over here.
Or, well, there's all kinds of theories. Like one, he had too much evidence on one certain individual. That'll get you.
That falls into the narcissist category.
You could be for a certain amount of time, not coming up with good intel anymore. So you're not worth the expense and frustration.
I don't think that's the case. And I'm about to show you why.
No, these are just
theories. That's fine. No, yeah. I haven't shown you why yet. So your theory is valid at this point.
Okay. I'm just trying to think, or maybe they thought there was going to be a different person in charge at the top. And because they wanted to save the careers of alphabet agencies that were handling him, they purposely burned him so they can have plausible deniability.
That is a possibility. That is my
spitballing.
Okay. So let me continue on with this over here thing. We know about the list. They claim there is no list, but then they give you the list and they tell you what the list is, but then they tell you there isn't a list. You get the point. They're obfuscating. They're clearly trying to cover this up.
Well, here's the thing. All right. And this is me spitballing. But there are people that hate Trump so much.
Yes.
That they will purposely release all of this information in the next 90 days. This is just my prediction.
Yes. And I agree with you.
Blow up.
To another point, I've heard a lot of people say they think Trump is on this list somewhere. I guarantee you that the enemies of Trump in the United States government, which by now is mostly a Bolshevik organization, we don't have a federal government. We haven't had some time. We have a foreign enemy, parasitic government.
Just call them American gangsters.
They're not American, though. That's the whole point. That's the reason you really can't try them for treason either, because they are loyal to their cause. That cause is just not America, and hasn't been for some time.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulas.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.